Solana launchpads are fighting for our money, and that's a good thing because it gives us the opportunity to have multiple runners on platforms. So we're going to go over what this means for the Solana trenches and opportunities that exist and how we can benefit off of them as each platform begins to rig the game in their favor. So let's take a look at the numbers here. This is the Launchpad ranking on Solana, and as we can see, Let's Bonk.fun is currently number 1 in the past 30 days with fees and revenue, and Pump.fun has begun to catch up for the first time in months since Let's Bonk has taken over in June. So this is good for us because it means they're going to be putting effort to actually reviving the trenches and bring some money and liquidity back so that we can actually have some runners. And if we can see the runners before they actually happen, that's how we profit. So I'm going to go over some coins to pay attention to, the trend, and what I'm expecting to happen with the battle of the Launchpad. So let's take a look at what's currently running, and then we'll talk about how you can benefit from this. But a quick side note, we can see Bitcoin dominance is currently attempting to break this trend line, which we have been watching for. This is the most bullish scenario that we could have for Bitcoin dominance breaking down. We still need to wait for a confirmation and a close below this. Right now, it's teasing us, sure, but it's not quite decisive yet. We are getting there, but until we actually decisively close below there in the next couple of days, I would still remain a bit hesitant to call this a decisive break. But there's good news for now. So let's get into what's going on in the Solana charts because that's where it gets really interesting. So currently we have a bunch of pump coins actually moving towards the upside. I called this at about 3.7 million on my Telegram group, and it's pumped up a pretty good amount since then, 120% to date, with the max being about 184. I do think we continue to see this moving towards the upside as this is a sponsored coin by Pump.fun, and I would assume that Pump.fun wants their coins to do really well. So that's why I am betting on this coin continuing to do well. But it's not just one coin, it's Dolo. We can see this has been pumped to $6 million from about 300K. We've got Aztec moving towards the upside, probably going to continue this moves as it has just broken all-time highs. And then we've got Jobcoin, a coin nobody has really heard of, but it's come out swinging with a 685% gain in just a week. It's absolutely insane. And then finally, we have the newest addition, which is Spark, going from 3 million to about 23 million and probably going to continue towards the upside as this is the flavor of the month coin, it seems. So this is not an endorsement to go ahead and buy these coins. This is just showing you currently what the Launchpad wars are doing. They're forcing liquidity back into the trenches because if Pump.fun doesn't compete with Bonk, they're simply going to take market share and Pump.fun basically fizzles out. So we were early to the Pump.fun rotation. I gave this to my group. I mentioned Troll to them at about $18 million. I mentioned Trencher at 3.7 and Aztec at about 4 million and a bunch of others. And now it's not really time to get into a lot of these Pump.fun coins because they are up a lot, like in the hundreds of percent. It doesn't mean it's over. It simply means that the liquidity is moving from Bonk to Pump.fun and they have pumped currently. So what I'm now looking for is opportunity on Bonk because Bonk has been drained of its liquidity. And the best way to gauge this is by taking a look at Useless right here. Useless is currently down about 53% from its all-time highs. I'm probably going a little bit lower. We're getting a little bit of a bounce here, sure, but I do think we continue to go lower as Pump continues to extract from Bonk. I do think at some point it reverses, which is why I'm preparing by looking at Bonk coins because I think the opportunity is going to be there. Like I said, look at these charts. They've absolutely been drained, but it doesn't mean they can't come back to life once the meta shifts back to Bonk. So if this is a Launchpad wars, the liquidity is going to shift from one Launchpad to the other. So as one dries out, the other one pumps, the opportunity goes back to Bonk in this case. And that's why I have these 4 boxes drawn up here, is because we're going to go from Pump.fun to Bonk, Bonk to Pump.fun, and then from Pump.fun to Bonk once again. And the cycle constantly repeats until Pasternak releases the flywheel so that ICM can actually come online, which we are still waiting for. So what I'm going to do now is show you coins that I'm interested in bidding for the Bonk eco because I think there's a huge opportunity here for Bonk coins that have had their liquidity drained out but still have good charts. And the first one is Gib. Gib has been holding so steady for the past couple of months. I mean, this was released back in May and it's had some pumps. It's come back from the dead ones, hit 3 million, went back to about 1. And then we had another pump to 5, came back to 1, and it simply refuses to die, which is something that's very interesting. It means that it has a healthy community behind it, and I like healthy communities. And right now, even with pump sucking liquidity out of Bonk, it remains to trade sideways. So this is, to me, an accumulation period, and this one that we had here was simply a test run. So I like what I'm seeing on Gib. I think 15 million is super easy to get because The last time we came swinging, we hit 15 million. So I expect this to be broken the next time we run towards the upside. And I wouldn't be surprised to see at the very least 20 million being hit. And that's around a 10x depending on what price this coin is at when you're watching this video. So GIB is my number one pick for the Bonk eco right now, as I think it's got an easy 10x in it in the next few weeks. It will probably require Pump.fun to stall out, and that will mean Troll has to hit about, I would say, $300 to $400 million market cap. And once that tops, you can expect rotations back into the Bonk ecosystem. Now, the next coin I'm looking at, and I haven't bought into this one yet, is Jojo. And Jojo has been doing something similar to GIB, but not quite as high as a market cap. So the community seems to be accumulating and active around the 400 to 1.2. And like I said, this is not one that I have super high conviction in. It's one that's caught my interest and I'm watching, and I'll continue to watch, because if it begins running and it holds this space for the next, 3 weeks, and we continue trading sideways, I could potentially be interested in it if some of my coins run and I can rotate capital into this. But as of right now, I'm not really interested in rotating capital. I'm simply watching it and bringing it to the channel's attention to watch it and see what it does, because it does look like an interesting chart. Now, one coin I'm extremely interested in here, and it doesn't look too pretty right now, is VCM. Now, I think VCM is going to be a slow cook simply because this is the ICM meta on Bonk, and the ICM meta won't come alive until Pasternak's flywheel is released. So I think this one's going to be slow. If we can just trade between 700K and 3 million for the next few weeks, that would be ideal. I don't really want to see us break down. I am bought into this one, and this is one of my high conviction trades right here. The reason being is I came across this thread that brought attention to this coin, and as you guys can see here, it's the first utility Bonk coin. Team includes X, TikTok, YouTube, Coinbase, Gemini, Amazon. It's got a flywheel. They actually have an app. I downloaded it and tested it out, and it looks pretty good. It's a crypto native app for social media, so you can think TikTok, but with crypto integration where you can swap coins kind of like you can in Phantom. It's pretty well done, a little bit slow, but it's still in beta. So I hope when they're actually out of beta, the product speeds up. But from what I can see, it's very legit. They spent a year on it, $1 million. Pre-seed valuation was $15 million, and we're able to grab it at $800,000 valuation, which is about a 93% discount. So I think this is one of those rare opportunities, if it does catch on and ICM meta does take off, that we're easily going to see this trade in $10 to $20 million range, and potentially higher if the narrative catches on. Now, this is SocialFi, and here's a sneak peek at what the app looks like. This is actually on the app, and you can see here it says trade. You've got the TikTok kind of interface. It's the same thing. You swipe up for media content, but it is a crypto app which has payment integration, and it's approved by the Apple Store, the first of its kind. But like I said, this is going to be a slow cook, so don't expect any fireworks too soon. I do think it blows up like Pasternak's coin did out of nowhere. Now, next up, we have Water. And Water is another ICM coin, but it's a meme coin on ICM. And the founder seems to get the whole marketing spiel on crypto Twitter. He's tuned in and continues to engage with the community. And I do think we see this a lot higher in the future. It just depends on when we bottom out and when Bonk gets the attention again. So there is a utility behind the bottles sold. For every bottle sold, they burn water. As you guys can see over here, this is the founder, and he's posted the stats. Bottles sold 52,000 and water burned is 1.7 million. New supply of water is about 9 billion. So he's constantly engaging, and he's got his videos out here of selling these water bottles in 7-Eleven, and he's teasing more things to come. This is his latest post right here. They've got a lot more bullish news that happened this week. He's got 17 more stores that he's partnered up with. He's got angel wiring next week for money. So he's got a lot of good news, and he's hyped up. He's got the energy that CT will love once this coin is up. Of course, there's no better marketing than green candles. And once this begins to print green candles and goes up again, that's when the good stuff starts. Now, one thing you need to pay attention to with new launches is that there will always be a candle like this at the start where it goes up and everybody's talking about it and it's hype, and then the hype dies down. The reason the hype dies down is usually because snipers are unloading their bundles. So hype dies down, snipers unload. There's not enough interest here to sustain a healthy price. However, it'll usually bottom out between 800 and 1 million. And that's the area you want to take a look at right here. I did buy into this coin around the $1.7, $1.8 million range. So I'm currently down in my position, but I'll be holding it because I think it has a lot of potential. One chart we can compare it to here is Rect, and this is a $556 million coin. It got there, it made this move in about 39 days. So absolutely insane movement towards the upside with straight up candles all the way. And Rect is the world's first brand coin, a meme coin powered by a real brand, real products, and real community, kind of like what Water is. It's a brand coin, and it's backed by the water sales, which burns water. So we definitely have some opportunities here on Bonk. It just depends on when liquidity will happen, because this whole game is a liquidity game and rotations. And the thing we need to be aware of is, where are we going to rotate to next? So right now we're on the Pump.fun rotation. I think the next one's going to be a Bonk rotation. Maybe we have a 9-gag runner. We also have Jupiter, but those are kind of on the smaller side when it comes to the liquidity drain, because we can take a look at the stats here once again and see the revenue for the past 30 days. You can see Bags is kind of working the way up. It's a new Launchpad right there. We've got Believe down there as well, Jupiter as well. So the main ones we have to really watch out for are these two, because this is where most of the money flows. And right now, the liquidity game, as I've been saying, is on Pump.fun, and then it'll be on Bonk. And depending on when Pasternak releases the flywheel, ICM will come into play in a big way. But right now, we're going to focus on Bonk and Pump.fun, because I do believe is going to be a time game where it'll come out of nowhere when no one's expecting, and then the green candles shoot up. And that's why I'm positioned right now, because I don't want to have to time the market. I'd rather just be in the market and benefit from the movement once the time comes. But I do also have liquidity spread out on Bonk and Pump.fun. I'm still in troll. I took some profits to rotate into Bonk coins to position myself, one of which is Gib and Water, because I want to make sure I'm covering all my bases. But that's pretty much what I've got for you guys today in terms of Launchpad Wars. I think it's going to get really interesting, and this is really good for the Solana ecosystem. As you guys can see, the volume is picking up once again, especially in the last week of July. So I hope this trend continues and we continue to see runners run. But as for now, that's it, and I'll see you guys on the next one.